Whether it's supermarket shelves or cafe menus, gluten-free food is everywhere these days. But what is gluten, and should we avoid it? Gluten is the common name we use for proteins found in wheat and other grains. When we bake with these products, these individual proteins link together to form a mesh. This mesh gives dough its elasticity and structure, and stops products like bread and cookies from simply crumbling apart. Gluten also helps to retain water within food, preventing it from drying out. The downside to gluten is that it makes some people really sick. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease, which means it's caused by our own immune systems. Our immune system's job is to protect us from infections by bacteria and other pathogens. One of the ways it does this is by producing antibodies, which stick to these pathogens, neutralising them and targeting them for destruction. When people with celiac disease eat gluten, their immune system decides that gluten is a threat and launches an all-out attack. It produces a bunch of antibodies to try and neutralise the gluten. But unfortunately, these antibodies don't just attack gluten. They also attack the cells lining the small intestine. This damages the intestine, which is painful and also a problem since the intestine is where we absorb most of our nutrients from our food. For people with celiac disease, gluten doesn't just make them feel bloated or a little nauseous. It makes them seriously unwell and can land them in hospital. So it's really important that they have a gluten-free diet. But should the rest of us be jumping on the gluten-free bandwagon? There's no evidence that gluten-free diets are a healthier alternative for people without celiac disease. Let's face it, a gluten-free cake can contain just as much sugar and fat as a version containing gluten. There are even a few recent studies suggesting that long-term gluten-free diets might be linked to other health issues, like an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And gluten-free food is definitely not healthier for your wallet. It can cost up to 17% more than similar foods containing gluten. People with celiac disease should definitely avoid gluten, but for everyone else, gluten doesn't need to be your enemy. Have a science topic you'd like to see drawn badly? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.